All right, so I saw a message in chat from Chris Garrett saying, "Come on, Douglas, let's start early." So here you go. It's 10 minutes before 9 a.m. How about that, Chris Garrett? All right, it is now 12/29, December 29th, and it is 9 a.m. And I have a whole bunch of audio confirmations in my ear right now, which you cannot hear. It is Friday, the day before New Year's Eve. If I got that right, that's a little confusing for me anyway. Yikes. What am I yeah, I got things to talk about. 10 minutes before the show time, I thought, oh, what am I going to talk about today? And I went back looking at my time slips. I looked a little bit of chat, and somebody asked in chat about time with my grandkids yesterday. Well, it's one grandson. That's all there is. So, as a little point of what? I don't know, host familiarity. Is that a thing? I'll give you some video from yesterday. Me and my grandson, we did some yard work out in the front yard. Here he is after pressing down the leaves, smashing them down. He took a little break. That one's, is that, yeah, that's not a video. And then this one is a video. What do we got here? Now you can hear the audio. Yeah. I'm burying him in leaves. No, I didn't bury him. Then what's next? See, I guess click down on this one. And there's a play.
I don't think I can. Come on, dude. Help me.
Grab the ladder.
Oh God, my pants are so dirty. Oh Jesus! Oh come on!
Yeah, well, we got here. Well, there's only a couple more.
Yeah, blow the leaves out through here.
When I brought the leaf blower out, his eyes got big and like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
Getting close to the base.
What's this one? I did not preview these.
My arm hurts. Can you do this for me?
And then here's the last one. What is this about? Now we're filling in a hole. All right, that's enough of that one. So that was what we did yesterday. Well, his mother was not on a job interview, but on a job orientation for a new job. Then let's go over to here. Email checker is something I worked with a client yesterday. She reported to me that she's a photographer. She sends out emails to her customers and hears back from them maybe a month later saying they never got that email. And then we discover that it's in her spam folder or the customer spam folder. So I looked into a little bit, and what's happening is she has a custom domain for her website, but when she sends email, she was sending email with an @Gmail address with commonly an image that included things such as package prices, things that would look like spam essentially. And of course, if you have a website with a custom domain name, and then somebody is sending email claiming to be that website, but it's @Gmail, oh, that's got to raise not only spam flags, but scam flags. So what we did is we set up a custom email address for her, which is very easy because she already had her domain name, her website. So it was just a matter of going into GoDaddy in this instance and create her email account. So she's going to be using that. But in pursuit of figuring this out, we didn't actually use email checker. We used spam test, mail tester. If you go to mailtester.com, when you first get into there, let me get into that address as a fresh, mail-tester.com, what you get is this temporary one-use, single-use email address. Copy that address, go create an email that you're going to send to people or your customers or clients. The email that you are finding sometimes gets treated as spam, and send that test email and then come back and click on this button. So to demonstrate that, there's a copy button out here. You can just click that and that copies it to your electronic clipboard. Then I'm going to go start a new email. I'm just taking that off screen enough for me to click the compose button and get this arranged so that I'm not going to expose anything private. So I come into the to line and paste that email address, then do whatever, let's see, I want to scam you, please. Let's see what it thinks about that subject line. And then put in whatever your text is and put in a picture. Send the email, then come back and click on this button for check your score. So that email has been received by this website and it goes through and evaluates this. Every time I've done it, it starts out at 14 and counts down. And the higher the score is, the more likely you're not going to be blocked as spam. And it gives some additional information. So you come down here, I've got 2 yellows and I've got a red. So I can click on these arrows out here to roll that open and see what it is saying about this. SPF does not allow your server such and such to use that address. I've known for some time that I didn't have the DMARC record. I didn't have the SPF set up right, but I'm not having problems with my emails getting blocked as spam, so I haven't pursued that. Down here, your message could be improved. It's saying that your message contains 16% of text. The weight of the HTML version is such and such, whatever that means. So basically, they're giving you an idea of how you might be having trouble. Then also with my client, block list. Oh, you're listed in one block list. I don't think I saw that last time I looked at this. Sorbs. Well, now this is weird because that's what she was listed in. Listed in Sorbs in the last 28 days. And then we went to this link by clicking on that and tested the email address and found that it did not report as being blacklisted. Now, this is surprising that Sorbs.net is not secure. It doesn't use HTTPS. That's weird. Now, the address that I sent from was my Doug@DougBetts.com, which I've told you before. You should not send emails to that address because I likely will not see it as quickly as if you send to the address of DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Then we have to enter that code to prove that we're human. Check entry. Yeah, not found in the database. So it said that I was in that block list, but now actually Sorbs says I'm not. And that's the same results that we had with my client. So that's a little weird. All right, I'm going to come into chat now and see what's going on. I do have the text to speech turned on. Okay, going to the beginning. Alice is first. Hi, all. Chris, I am second today. No trailer today. First to hit like. Thank you, Chris. If you're ever trying to move files, maybe in a folder, and some stubborn files will not move, try Roadkill's Unstoppable Copier. Does it work for teenage kids? Stubborn is stubborn. Then great program is a small program like Uncle Carrie's Optimizer. Move files or just copy. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Josh Kinder says hello. Brian says hello. People saying hellos back and forth to each other. Mr. Bojangles. Where's that coming from? Mr. Bojangles, whatever. Chris, the HP desktop I've been using, the Zoom installer broke again. The HP desktop I have been using, the Zoom installer broke again. Oh yeah, I remember you were having troubles with the Zoom installer on that computer. I am frustrated. I'm just going to use my laptop for now, my old one from 2016. My new laptop I bought last year, Messenger is broken. So also Messenger and Zoom you're having trouble with? No, that's a desktop. This is an old laptop, and there's a new laptop. All right, 3 computers you're talking about there and 2 messages. Danielle, the roadkill product you reference looks interesting. Chris, I use Roadkill Unstoppable Copier to copy files from the SSD that was in the HP. That presumes you were having troubles copying the files. Chris to Danielle, yes, it was meant to copy files from damaged CDs and DVDs. It will copy from damaged CD or DVD, depends upon how damaged. So I would suspect that if there's a portion of the file that it can't copy, it just goes ahead and copies what it can, which means you might wind up with an unusable file, or you might have enough of what you need. Danielle says, I just reinstalled Veeam Agent for Microsoft Windows back on my 5700G. That was having problems. I'm still kind of wondering what was causing the problems before they went it away. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. There seems to me that the problems there had to do with USB ports. John saying, I hope you have a good time with the grandkids. There's the start early request. Mike Wojcik, Selden Ball, Ran Israel, brief dropout. I'm showing 0 drop frames. It's probably on your end. All I heard was, how about that Chris Garrett? I did not hear the first part. Wow. Oh, that was about the starting early. I think that's where I started. I think that was my first word. How about that Chris Garrett asked me to start early? Yeah, I think that was the beginning. I get frustrated with Morningstar's site. The site often just seems slower than reasonable. Is it because too much advertising on there? Maybe because your ad blocker is slowing it down, because your ad blocker is blocking things, and there might be something going on along those lines. This is great. How old is he? He's 10 years old. Thank you, Alice. I've got those same, and she's referring to the videos. Great, good. I've got the same square trash cans, one for regular trash, recyclable trash, and yard waste. Yep, same thing, 3 of them. My gray garbage container is smaller than the others. Max tries to bite my leaf blower. It's good to learn this stuff when you're young. My son barely knows how to do anything in the yard. Yeah, I didn't give you pictures of him doing some pruning on my olive tree, the sucker branches that grow off of the branches on the olive tree. I wanted to cut those off, so he did those with a little hand pruner. Then he did them with a 2-handed pruner, and then we tried with a little mini chainsaw. So I actually let him use a little mini chainsaw, but it's worn out. I think it's got a motor problem. It just didn't work very well at all. Hello, Frankie B. It cannot be the exact same, whatever that is. I missed that conversation, I think. Chris says, I love this older laptop from 2016 better. I'm getting as bad as Joshy for breaking things. Hello, Bobby Warren. I did my sub giveaway a minute ago. I'm here now. Dennis gave some sub giveaways to his Twitch. Yeah, I think it was Twitch. Danielle, I'm suspecting incompatibility between Veeam and USB ports or USB drives on that computer. Yeah, okay, so Veeam. I don't know the program that well. VE, I don't know it at all. What is Veeam? Is it 3? Oh, it's a backup software, right? And so you're using Veeam to back up through USB ports, and it's flaky, maybe not seeing the drives. We were talking about, oh yeah, your USB ports, about some of them controlled by the CPU controller, some of them controlled by the chipset. One of the things that we were talking about is how to identify which USB ports were controlled by the CPU, which were controlled by the chipset, but also the power usage. And there's another thought on the tip of my mind, and I think I've got it well enough. Let's go over here to my SW setup folder and that USB dev view that will show us the power utilization from those ports and show you what is connected to those ports. What I was wondering there is if you're having a problem with the drives not being recognized by Veeam, when you connect that drive and get it functional, find how much power that drive is using through that port, and maybe try switching around to different ports, see if you can get to where that drive is connected on a USB bus that is not shared with other USB ports. Let's see, the external drives that you're having problems with, if I'm remembering that correctly, are they externally powered? Let's be interested in drilling into that deeper, Danielle. I think you've sent me some emails in the past. What was going on? Veeam has different products. Agent for Microsoft Windows would make sense for home users. Other products are designed for servers, multiple locations. Well, what are you using it for? That's the only thing that matters. Alice, that happened with my old iPod Nano, but my PC picks up my original iPod Shuffle. Yeah, incompatibility between Veeam and USB ports or USB drives on that computer. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the specific USB drive that you're using might be having the problem with Veeam and with your ports, the combination of the three different factors, meaning, well, maybe 4, your motherboard, your CPU, your USB ports, your drive, and Veeam. Maybe you could say 5. Where is the compatibility problem actually happening? Now, what is the actual symptom? Incompatibility is a conclusion. That's a diagnosis. But what's the symptom? The symptom would be something like you plug in the USB drive, turn it on, and it doesn't show up in Veeam and it doesn't show up in Windows. Or it shows up in Windows and it doesn't show up in Veeam. So the word incompatibility is a diagnosis. It's a conclusion. It's not the symptom. What's the actual symptom, Danielle? Let's see, maybe she's already said something and I have to scroll up and down to get to it. Nope, not yet. All right, so what do I have set up for a redirect? I'll go check on that and come back and see if Danielle's given me more information on that. By the way, I don't have much agenda set up for tomorrow. If anybody's got some subject or issue that they'd like to address, then let me know about that. And I should have a redirect to Kerry Holzman. He's got 2 shows showing. Today is the 29th, so that's the right one. All right, so I have the redirect set up for Kerry. And then I'll come back to chat. And I'm just about at the end of what I have to talk about, unless we have something more from Danielle. Right now, it's running a backup using my Western Digital, My Passport, portable drive using the new PCIe and the new USB 3.0 card. So there's no symptom, there's no problem. You're implying that there is a problem sometimes. So what is the occasional problem? If you're willing, able, interested in sharing that with us. Long Dog says start with checking connections. Take a toothbrush. Okay, the problem there is, Long Dog, you don't know what the symptom is yet. Let's find out what the symptom is first. That very well may be the way to go, but let's find out what the symptom is and then give a prescription of what to do. Long Dog, I have in my possession a table that was driving me nuts for the longest time because odd behavior that didn't make sense. What? A table, like a kitchen table? I have in my possession a table that was driving me nuts for the longest time because of odd behavior that didn't make sense. Then I finally just changed the cable, not table. Then I finally just changed the cable and everything has been fine to the USB external drive it was hooked to. Yeah, okay. I have several USB drives that I use externally. Most of them turned off until I need them. Yeah, that part about taking a toothbrush to the USB ports, that would be for the ports. The cable itself, yeah, just swap cables. Right now it's running back. I've already got that. I have several USB drives that I use externally. Most of them are turned off until I need them. That's from Long Dog. Chris, I am sure Josh has broken something or will break something by tomorrow. So when they act weird, it drives me nuts. My computer was freezing and often saw Veeam activity in the event viewer before freezing and me manually powering down. So it wasn't an issue of the drive not connecting. See, here's the exact reason why I want to say, what is the symptom? So this takes us a different direction than what many of us were assuming. And I know you've told us this before because it sounds familiar, but I needed you to come back to the symptom. To my knowledge, the computer's still working okay. I reinstalled Veeam again to see if it could break again. So the computer was freezing. Was it freezing during a backup, or was it that you'd be using the computer later on and it would freeze and you would find a message in Event Viewer that led you to Veeam, that somehow specified a problem with Veeam? That to me doesn't necessarily mean that Veeam is the culprit, but Veeam is where the symptom showed up. And it wasn't a symptom actually in the backup software itself, but it was more of a symptom that your computer had. Your computer experienced a symptom where it reported to you some kind of an issue with Veeam, but the issue might not have been caused by Veeam. It could have been caused by something else active in your computer, even your computer's anything, computer hardware or software that was interacting in such a way where it triggered a symptom that shows up by virtue of reporting an error that includes a file related to Veeam. So I would suggest don't assume that it is a problem with Veeam itself, particularly if you've already, got Veeam updated, done Google search for that particular error message that showed up in the Event Viewer, updated drivers, updated Windows, everything's up to date. Is there a way to force that symptom to happen? Whenever that symptom occurred, consider what other software was running at the time. What were you doing with the computer? Because it's quite possible whatever you were doing triggered that symptom, even though it wasn't doing a backup at the time. Although I don't really know if that's the case. Was it doing a backup at the time? when that event viewer event triggered or not. To my knowledge, my computer is still working okay. I reinstalled Veeam again to see if it could break again. Now, when you say break, if break simply means the event occurred in Event Viewer, but your computer is working fine, that's not really broken in my mind. You've got a symptom with an error message occurring in Event Viewer, but everything's working fine. I don't think of that as broken. And I've seen some errors that are persistent, and I just do put a reasonable amount of effort to try to clean them up, and I'm unsuccessful, and I just live with it because the thing works fine. Sometimes USB cables, external drives go bad, and sometimes it's the board inside. Yeah, I don't think she's having a problem with the connection. She hasn't told us the symptom is that the computer can't talk to the external drive. So far, all I'm seeing is that it's that event message. The board that converts, let's see, sometimes USB go drive, sometimes it's the board inside the board that converts SATA to USB. Yeah, not having that trouble. The thing is, backup software also have services running in the background. Yeah, and software running in the background, they can step on each other. Here's a thought that comes to mind. You might check power management in the device manager for USB ports. But that she's not having a problem with the USB port. That was only a suspicion, but the only symptom that I'm seeing here is an event, an error that shows up in Event Viewer, but the computer's still running fine. No problem. Only a symptom. I could have went to Georgia Bulldogs game. All right. I think we're done here. Here's one more. When that B550 chipset was first released, there was a lot of problems per Reddit related to USB. Some posts suggested a separate USB card solved problems. But again, there is no problem. There's only a symptom in Event Viewer, unless there's something I've missed. It's possible, Doug, that the power management setting for USB port invokes the error with the program software. Yeah, that among 1,000 other possible sources of the trouble. It is just a possibility. We don't have anything pointing to that. If we had something where every time that port got activated or utilized, that threw that event, then that could be. What I'm deducing from what I'm understanding is Danielle has this in Event Viewer, and an error shows up at random times, not while a backup is running, but the software has been previously loaded, and Event Viewer shows that error, but it still functions fine. Okay, I'm going to shut this down. Normal time tomorrow. And if you have any topics that you'd like to explore, send that. You can send that by email to this address, or you can ask about it in chat. If you send it by email, I have a little bit of time to prepare, and which might make for a more productive time. All right. Have a great day, everybody. I will catch you later. Goodbye.